So the Charizard UPC is out in less than a month, and obviously there's been a massive amount of hype. A lot of people already calling it the best product of the year, the best product of the era, and to be honest, I probably don't disagree with a lot of it. But I will go through a few reasons in this video as to why maybe this is not the product for you, maybe this is not the product you should be picking up. Again, it's going to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. The first thing I would kind of preface this entire video is by saying that if you can pick this up at MSRP or close to it even, you know, if you know your local game store owner perhaps, or your LGS is just, you know, one of those that's not willing to sell them at market price and they're happy to sell at MSRP, go for it. Get as many of it as you want. It's certainly going to be a great idea for you to do that, whether it is to invest or to open. Let's be honest, it's probably going to be to invest. But either way, if you can do that, absolutely, why not? But I just think there are a few things that people should consider before they go out right now, perhaps, and, you know, pre-order at market price, for example, or when it comes out, initially pre-ordering it, sorry, not pre-ordering it, but purchasing it straight away. And I just think there's a few things that it might be worth considering before doing exactly that. So as I mentioned, it's going to be out soon. It was obviously announced around about August time, and it's expected to be released towards the end of October. And just quickly, if you aren't aware, for some reason you're not aware, you know, you've been living in a cave somewhere, the Ultra Premium Collection, the Charizard UPC, is going to MSRP around $120, and what it does include is 3 promo Charizard cards, which have since been released, or at least the artworks have been released. It's going to get the usual stuff that you get in this kind of product, so you know, play mats, sleeves, coins, that kind of thing. And then it's also going to come with 16 booster packs as well, similar to the Zamazenta and Zacian collection from right at the beginning of the Sword and Shield era. So if you look at the actual artworks of the Charizard, which were released I think a couple of weeks ago at this point, so here are the 3 Charizards. The first being this kind of Charizard lying in the grass and just kind of relaxing. The second being my favorite, which is this insane, just Godzilla-esque Charizard just rampaging and destroying everything it sees. And the third being you know, kind of in-action battle sequence kind of thing. I'm not the biggest fan of this. For me, there's a lot going on, a lot of cute things as well that you notice, like the Diglett in the bottom left corner. But it seems a little bit chaotic. I like the art style, I like the kind of hand-drawn art. It's just a lot going on. It reminds me a lot of the, you know, the Charizard Venusaur cards that we've seen both in Brilliant Stars and in the Japanese promo from a few years ago. So obviously you're going to be listening and thinking, you know, why the hell would I not purchase this thing if I had the opportunity to? And of course, it's your money. Go ahead, why not? But I just wanted to give some insight as to what I'm doing, obviously, as a store owner, and you know, what I'm kind of looking at doing to get a hold of the product. So first things first, there are actually stores, I'm not sure about, well, certainly will be in the US, for example, but at least I know in the UK, I'd say probably the 2 biggest stores in the UK for Pokemon product being Chaos Cards and Magic Madhouse have put pre-orders up at MSRP. I'm not sure exactly when this is going to be available here, and I'm actually not sure if Magic Madhouse have already given theirs out, because it does obviously say out of stock here. But obviously they're such big names, it's unlikely that they're going to go out and put it up initially for £300, like a lot of smaller stores would be doing. And again, you find it for this price, it's a no-brainer. Go for it, don't hesitate. It'd be crazy thing not to do. But if you're, and unfortunately I am in this position where I've not had any information from my distributor, so if I do want them, I either have to do this and somehow get them at MSRP on pre-order, or I have to fight for it in the secondary market, or just pay more pre-ordered. So I'm sat here in this situation thinking I really don't fancy paying £300 almost, and that's at this moment in time, for the UPC. And the reason I want to go into a few reasons as to why that is. So first things first, I want to look at some data for, you know, what I would say is a kind of standard release. Obviously Brilliant Stars is a good set, so it might not be as standard as that, but this is kind of how you expect the price of a product, of a sealed product, such as well, similar to the UPC, and this is kind of how I'd expect it to go somewhat. And so what normally happens is, obviously, you've got these insane prices at the beginning. These are just kind of weird fluctuations, maybe one-off sales, just kind of pre-order, pre-release kind of prices. They're a bit crazy. I would say one to ignore usually, just because people do get a little bit crazy before the products are out. That's why no one recommends buying single cards, for example, until the set's actually released, or maybe a couple of weeks into it. And the reason why they say a couple of weeks into it is because usually you get to this period of time where the price really bottoms out. Obviously, this was around about Christmas as well, so post-Christmas usually people have spent the money beforehand, and then they've got less money to spend there. So that's obviously going to influence things a little bit. But generally what happens with most sets that are released and most kind of normal usual products is that they have this high price at the beginning, few weeks, few months maybe, depending on the product, into the release. They kind of bottom out, and then over time, slowly and surely, they'll just continue to rise. Obviously, this is not, we're not considering reprints here, for example. There are a lot of products during the boom of the last couple of years where it would kind of follow exactly this, and Pokemon Company would just throw out and print an insane amount of product, probably similar print runs to their initial print run, and then this price doesn't just slowly go up. What happens is, for example, if you look at Vivid Voltage, and maybe I should include the graph here, but yeah, you'd see a slow rise, and then you'd see a drop, and then a lot of, maybe not just bottoming out, but kind of plateauing at that price. You obviously got, for at least in this example here with Brilliant Stars, you've got that's just some weird fluctuation. I'm sure someone paid a silly amount that day, perhaps, or someone purchased it but didn't pay. I'm not sure exactly how TCG Player registered that. But you can see over time, there's a slow rise, and obviously this is a year's worth of data roughly. So this is, again, what you'd expect from a normal product. Here we have the, if I just refresh this to get the image back, this is just the Celebrations booster pack, obviously not like an actual, it's obviously a sealed product, but not some kind of box, some kind of box set release. And again, something similar. It has been roughly a year since release as well. I think it was around about the beginning of October. So again, you see this, initial crazy prices, again, something to ignore, and then slowly coming down, or quickly coming down, and then slowly rising. And finally, I just wanted to compare that to the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, because it is the best example to compare with the Charizard UPC, of course. And it does, I think, I keep saying it's like a normal product, and a product kind of price distribution and temporal price distribution. And yeah, I'd say that's what you'd expect from a healthy product. Again, you have this crazy prices before, a quite quick drop until it gets to the price where it's kind of bottomed out. People are looking and thinking, well, it's not going to get any lower than that, maybe it's the time for me to pick it up. A lot of people think exactly that, so then the price obviously then starts to increase, and it's been pretty much steadily increasing over time. The big difference between a booster box, for example, and an UPC like Celebrations is that although product was slowly released over time because they had a lot of it probably in their warehouses somewhere, as far as I'm aware, the Celebrations UPC hasn't exactly had an explicit reprint, whereas Brilliant Stars did have a small one. I'm expecting it to get another reprint at some point, and a lot of the Sword and Shield main sets have had exactly that. The better sets, your Brilliant Stars, your Evolving Skies, your Astral Radiance, I guess, when the time comes, the better sets, where even when they're given a reprint, they'll drop a little bit and rebound quite quickly, just because the demand is just high compared to something like Battle Styles or Chilling Reign, where when additional stock was coming, it just kind of flattens and bottoms out the price. Similar to kind of just this kind of middle period here where the price just does nothing for a long period of time. You want to avoid getting into those situations just because it means that your money is not doing anything, and if you really consider inflation, that kind of thing, it's really a loss for you. So, you know, ideally you're in this kind of period here where you're always growing, and not just towards the end here where you're kind of flattening and plateauing in price. So for me, the way I see it, then I'm expecting the Charizard UPC to follow a similar pattern. And what does that mean? It means that we're expecting to see, obviously we don't have a year's worth of data here, but we're expecting to see the price of it similar to the Celebrations UPC to bottom out over a couple of months. And again, Pokemon do it the same way that they've done Celebrations. It's going to reach this price and it's going to slowly rise over time, and we're not expecting a significant amount of reprints to kind of push this price back down, because the demand is always going to be there. It's just a matter of how much stock they're printing, and we're not expecting that to be consistently happening throughout, especially because it will be the end of the era. And it's not like they don't print stock from a previous era, but they really do like to focus on the new era and getting products out for that, because, you know, by the end of this year, that's going to be the case. We're going to be in Scarlet and Violet, and it's going to be about Scarlet and Violet. So that's kind of the main reason why I'd say maybe hold off right now from picking up the UPC. I'd say, you know, that's given the data that we have here, it makes sense to myself, and maybe to yourself as well. You might obviously disagree, and feel free to share that in the comments. But it makes sense to me that maybe it's worth waiting a couple of months. Obviously, everything with is given with the caveat of, if you can get it at the MSRP, buy the damn thing. It's never going to get to MSRP. The market price is never going to be at MSRP. So if you can get it for that much, just bloody do it. And, you know, I just wanted to append on top of this that, you know, I'm expecting this kind of price distribution over time. Over at least the following year, because obviously that's what this data shows. There's just another couple of things that I thought were interesting to note that might significantly affect the price of the Charizard UPC. As of right now, at least on TCG Player, it's around about $300. Again, this is resale data. The first thing being that I've heard from a lot of people, and as I mentioned earlier, not myself, that distribution numbers have been reasonably high, especially compared to the Celebrations UPC. A lot of people saying they got a decent number of the product that they're going to sell, and I imagine most of them are, you know, if they are the smaller ones who are talking about the numbers, it's mostly kind of like you know, a lot bigger YouTubers, I guess, or people who own smaller size stores, who are quite candid with this information. They're probably not going to be selling at MSRP. It's unlikely they will be, and they will be selling at market price. But if you're not in a rush to buy at that immediate market price, and it's a big problem that everyone obviously faced during the boom era, people were happy to pay crazy prices. You know, I was selling Vivid Voltage boxes for $200, and you know, you look back and you think, why the hell is anyone doing that? But of course, that was such an irrational period of time. But I think if you're unhappy paying that price, you know, I wouldn't I wouldn't hesitate to kind of stay away from it, because, you know, if everyone does that, because we're all suddenly agreed that the price is too high, the market will adapt to that, and people will lower the prices, and the prices will come down. So if we're expecting a decent number of products to come to market after the release date or during release, I'm expecting that price to come down similar to what you see in the graph here. Additionally, one other point I thought that was interesting is that, of course, this has the same, the Charizard UPC has the same MSRP as the Celebrations UPC. A lot of keep saying UPC, but yeah, the price is similar. However, the Celebrations UPC came with many more packs. Of course, they were the Celebrations four card packs compared to the regular booster packs that we're going to get with this Charizard UPC. So I kind of just looked at the numbers quickly. So the Charizard UPC is going to have 16 booster packs, and if that's at MSRP, so $4 roughly, that's about $64 worth of packs, meaning that the remainder of the UPC, at least in terms of MSRP, is going to be $60. And obviously, market price considered, those Charizard cards are going to go for a lot more than, they're probably going to be $60 each, if anything, meaning that you're getting a crazy amount of value. But from if you just look at the numbers in terms of MSRP, the value you're getting from the celebrations might even be greater than the value we're getting here. So for example, with the celebrations at the same MSRP, you're getting 17 celebration booster packs. I'm not sure what the MSRP at. I don't know. I think it's 4. I think it's 4, but it might also be 3. I'm not too sure. You did also get 8 regular booster packs. That's like $32 worth of booster packs. You got the 2 metal cards, of course, which were crazy and you know, full of hype, and you know, got a lot of excitement going, and a lot of drama, of course. And then you also had the gold Pikachu V and the gold Pokeball V, and you know, they're not at crazy prices right now. The metal cards again, you know, up to the maybe $100 max, but you know, they've also had their issues as well in terms of grading and that kind of thing. So I just superficially, without even considering the prices that you get on the market with these Charizard cards, because they will be insane, particularly the VMAX in my opinion, the Godzilla Charizard. I think the value you get in the celebrations UPC is ridiculously good for that MSRP, and obviously it just offers more. I think it's the gold cards really that kind of push it over the limit for me. So taking in those factors, the hopefully high allocation and production number of products, obviously it's coming at a much more stable time in terms of Pokemon being able to print product, whereas obviously a year ago it was still kind of chaotic with lockdowns and all that kind of thing. With that, with the fact that you know, I think that the value is obviously there, but maybe not as much as the celebrations UPC. Again, that's a little bit subjective, and then also given the expected temporal kind of price distribution as you see here, I'm expecting the price to kind of bottom out towards the end of the year, again similar to here, around about the Christmas time, and maybe a little bit after Christmas, where again people just aren't going to be buying because you know they've just spent all their money and they've got you know, they're not interested in buying. And I would think maybe that's the best time to buy if you're unable to get it at MSRP. Of course, throughout there's going to be small releases as well, similar to celebrations, where you know some remaining stock was put up for sale. So I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of discuss and talk about, if you know, if anyone's got any additional thoughts. I'm sure I may have made some mistakes in terms of dates and times and pricing, so you know, feel free to let me know. Again, buy the damn thing if you can get it for MSRP, don't even hesitate. But you know, this is just for those in a similar situation to myself who are like, okay, well, are we fucked now? Do we have to pay $300? Do we have to pay £300 for it, or can we be a little bit patient and wait? And that's what I'm hoping to do. So thanks for checking out the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.